What's up guys, welcome to Veldora-kun. From our previous episode, we have witnessed the most awaited start of Founders Festival. If you haven't watched the previous episodes, I will put the link in the description below. Just a quick warning, these videos contain spoilers from the light novel. Also, don't forget to join our Discord community, Veldora-kun Subordinates. The link is in the description box. So now in this video we will review what happened next, which are the next visitors after the Rabbitman tribe. But before we will proceed, please like, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Now without further ado, let's proceed with the video. After the representative of Rabbitman tribe left, Rimuru faced to the monsters who kneeled before him. These monsters seeks an audience with Rimuru. Among them was a familiar face, Gabiru's father, and chief of Lizardman tribe. Abil now looked like a warrior in the prime of his youth with a face full of energy. Rimuru giving him a name must have evolved him to this point, to a dragonoot, one far closer to humanoid than before. But speaking of which, Gabiru's appearance never experienced such a drastic change. His sister Sauka evolved to obtain a human form too, but Sauka had gone almost entirely human, so maybe it depended on what the individual wanted. Abil said, "Long time no see, Rimuru-sama. It pleases me greatly that you have risen to Demon Lord, I know, we also." Abil's body tensed up due to nervousness. He was probably more on the worship side of matters. Just as Gabiru had mentioned before, Demon Lords were fearsome existences to both men and monsters. Rimuru thinks that Abil already should have known what he was like, so why all the nerves? So Rimuru decided to say something. Long time no see, Chief. Good to see you again. No need for the formalities here. We are all good pals within the Federation after all, so I look forward to your guidance in the future as well. Benimaru gave off a dry smile, while Shuna let out an exasperated sigh, but Rimuru didn't care. Abil responds, "It is not that simple, Rimuru-sama. Right now Rimuru-sama has become a demon lord, so things are totally different. You are not only our lord, but the dominator of the entire forest of Jura." Rimuru thinks that Abil was still the same as always, so serious all the time. But that's what Rimuru liked about him. Rimuru replies, all right. There aren't any other races in this chamber we're in right now. You don't have to be all nervous. Chief, your son Gabiru has been working hard under me. He's now an official and plays an integral part in our community. Rimuru also emphasized the parent-child relationship between Abil and Gabiru and indirectly hinting that he ought to let him back into the family already. Abil says, there is no phasing you, Rimuru-sama. Gabiru, that kid. Has my son been of service to you? He's such an incorrigible fool, so. He must have noticed Rimuru's intentions. On the surface, Gabiru and Abil had cut ties with each other. Rimuru said, not at all. He is now working very hard and is in charge of the entire research department. He's doing an excellent job for me. Aren't you, Gabiru? To which Gabiru responds, yes. During Rimuru's conversation with Abil, Gabiru had stood frozen on the side this entire time without saying a word. He seemed embarrassed to the point where even blushing all the way back to his ears. When he was suddenly expected to join the conversation, his voice cracked. Abil gives a remark, this silly boy. Rimuru then lets a bit of his demon lord hockey, and this act also turned the atmosphere solemn. Rimuru said, leader of the Lizardman tribe, Abil. Though I may be demon lord, I request your continued support as a member of my federation. And Abil responds, understood. I swear by my name that I will never forget my allegiance to you. Abil got down onto his knees and bowed, declaring his loyalty with conviction. Rimuru nodded towards him as his gaze fell onto Gabiru, who was still in a state of panic. Gabiru can be so dense sometimes. Rimuru guesses Gabiru didn't see what that glance meant. Rigard, who could no longer bear to watch, made a move as he whispered to Gabiru, Rimuru-sama would like you and your father to speak to each other privately. If you don't take this chance right now to mend your relationship, opportunities are going to be hard to come by in the future. And having an estranged son accomplishing so many great things puts Sir Abil in a delicate position too, no doubt. After Rigard pointed this out, Gabiru seemed to have finally understood the situation. Gabiru immediately saluted Rimuru, still a little flustered, and accompanied Abil out of the chamber. Next in line were the chiefs of each high Orc clan who came to greet Rimuru with several subordinates. They must have trusted Rimuru enough to not bring guards in, and the entourages were composed of children and grandchildren. With their food situation much improved, life had plainly gotten a lot easier for them. The most important thing for them was the birth of new children. Rumor had it that the fact that these children were themselves high orcs, which surprised and elated them so much that they wanted to show them off to Rimuru. Next came the final group of the day. Apart from the lizardmen and high orcs, there was one last major faction of the Jura Great Forest left. The Treants had also come to greet Rimuru. Actually, the only individuals who made an appearance were the Dryads Traya and Doroth, Treyni's younger sisters. But since the Treants were immobile, this couldn't really be helped. Moreover, the Dryads were the representatives of tree people anyways, so no issues there. Rimuru had been visiting the Treant colony on regular occasions. Zijin and Apito had been keeping it well protected, and they also delivered high-quality honey to Rimuru. It was probably due to these reasons that the reception atmosphere was pretty relaxed. Traya and Doroth said, "It's been a while, Rimuru-sama. Congratulations on being appointed a demon lord. And we hope you will continue to provide us with your benevolent protection." It was as if the two were made from the same mold that birthed Treyni-san. They exuded the usual aura characteristic of an abundance of powerful mana. After talking to them about certain matters, they said they have something urgent to discuss with Rimuru. So Rimuru arranged another place to meet them that evening. The moment he entered the room, the two spoke in unison. They said, "So what we wanted to talk to you about. We want to follow Nisan's footsteps to serve the beautiful fairy queen." At this point, Rimuru's mind was still stuck on the title Fairy Queen. That's quite the dramatic name that didn't suit that chibi at all. And beautiful? Rimuru recalled a smiling Ramras in his mind. No way. Not beautiful. They were probably picturing totally different things, he was pretty sure about that. If Ramras is considered beautiful, then you could describe Shizu, the base of his own looks, as a goddess. Even though Rimuru is used to it now, he still occasionally get mesmerized when looking at himself. Even Benimaru and Xian seemed to agree with Rimuru. They added, "This is not just our opinion, but that of all the Treants. We heard that this town Ramras-sama has moved and settled here. And if so, we can only hope to be of some service to her." Rimuru thinks to himself that how could he take these people as subordinates when they were shouting about pledging loyalty to someone else? If they had already requested a different master, that would make it hard to ask them to serve Rimuru, he suppose. Besides, Treyni, their big sister, was already serving Ramras, so he had no real reason to be opposed. Rimuru asked, "Then, would you guys want to ask her directly in person?" To which they cannot believe it. Then the two reacted quite enthusiastically. So off they went to Ramras's place, where they found Beretta silently working while Treyni-san was busy tending to Ramras. Beretta seemed to be buried beneath a mountain of work. The two sisters commented, Ramras-sama is indeed beautiful. As beautiful as always and so elegant. The perfect master for us to serve." Treyni-san saw this and nodded in acknowledgement. Rimuru wasn't sure who they were talking about at this point. Elegant was one of the last words he'd ever used to describe her. Because of this, Ramras started acting cocky. "Did you hear that? Hey, did you hear that? Better not look down on me any longer, you hear? How troublesome." She was even flying around Rimuru looking all delighted. Rimuru said, "How do you see it, Ramras? I think all the Treants want to serve you, too, not just these two." Ramras is hesitant and seemed to be aware that she was a guest who was just temporarily staying here. "That's why Rimuru helped her. How about moving them into your labyrinth? We moved the Beastman's camp without breaking a sweat, so could it be much harder to move the Treant colony?" Ramras asked back, "Can I? In that case, I'll head out as soon as tomorrow. Expanding this labyrinth was a snap when I borrowed some power from my master. Expansion of the labyrinth is super easy. I feel like my power has increased as well. There are still empty floors right now, So perhaps it'll be a great idea to turn one of them into a forest. Ramrus is okay with the proposal and overjoyed. Though that part about borrowing power from Veldora concerned Rimuru a little, but whatever. Treyni said, but we are residents of the Jura Great Forest, shouldn't they be placed under Sir Rimuru's rule? Though Treyni is concerned, at some point, she looks relieved as she wants to lie with her sisters as well. Rimuru explained the matter to them and said he wouldn't hold them accountable for anything if they migrated now, since Ramrus's subordinates were immortal inside the labyrinth. Her rule over the labyrinth was unstoppable, and besides, it'd be nice for them to be reunited with their original master. Traya said, we Treants and Dryads wish to reposition ourselves under the blessed protection of Lady Ramrus. And Thoris added, we know it is selfish of us, but will you grant us your permission? And just like that, the plan to move the Treant tribe into Ramrus's labyrinth had been approved. The Treant colony would be placed on floor 95, the level on which the Beastman camp was located. The issue concerning their migration was settled quickly. Ramrus just opened a door to the labyrinth at the Treant's location, then moved them right inside. Now Ramrus had an even greater domain to rule over, and I had a more stable labyrinth to work with. Managing the magicule concentration and the air conditioning had also become easier. Treyni said, we after all have the honor to build an amusement park here, so it is an easy task. Since Treyni-san put it that way, her sisters and the rest of the Dryads had no objections. Now Rimuru got some unexpected assistance. And that's it for my video. Thank you so much. See you on my next upload.